Chapter 41 Father Forgives You. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Wanda frowned and asked, Dean Wu, are you sure? Wu Xingye nodded, with a serious expression. He explained, the ingredients of divine Dr. Ye's prescription are very simple. I also read it at the time. It does have the effect of detoxifying and nourishing the body, but there were 2 remaining medicinal residues in the medicine bowl that did not match the ingredients of the traditional Chinese medicine and the prescription. Because of this, the prescription not only failed to work, but also had side effects. Mr. Lin, Dr. Yi repeatedly warned him before leaving yesterday that he must prepare the medicine according to the prescription. How could such a mistake happen? Lin Wanda shook his head and said, it shouldn't be, I clearly asked Yang. Suddenly, his eyes widened as if he thought of something. Turning to Lin Jiaoyang, he asked in a deep voice, I will let you prepare and cook the medicine according to the prescription. The problem can only arise with you. Why did you want to harm Grandpa? Lin Jiaoyang was so frightened that she trembled. She turned pale and shook her head. I didn't want to harm Grandpa. I didn't mean it. I just suspected that the man named you was uneasy and kind, so I sent the prescription to a Chinese medicine friend for judgment. He said there was something wrong with the prescription and that 2 of the medicines needed to be changed, so I listened to him, but I didn't expect. Snapped. Before she finished speaking, Lin Wanda slapped her in the face loudly. He said with a face full of hatred, asshole. Do you know how much trouble you have caused because of your willfulness? Can you afford this responsibility? Thump. Lin Jiaoyang knelt directly on the ground, tears falling down. His expression was full of regret and fear. If she had known that things would turn out like this, she wouldn't have dared to secretly change the medicinal ingredients. Wu Xingye sighed and said, Chief Lin, the top priority is to blame Miss Lin. It is useless. We must invite Dr. Yi as soon as possible. He is the only one in the world who can save Mr. Lin. Yeah. Lin Wanda nodded and scolded Lin Jiaoyang, what are you still doing? Call Yunyun quickly and ask her to invite Dr. Yi over. We can also arrange for someone to come to your door. Lin Jiaoyang was in a hurry and quickly followed the instructions. Soon, she got news from Han Ruoyun, saying that he had called Ye Tiance and his phone was turned off. As for Ye Tiance's residential address, Han Ruoyun didn't even know. Lin Jiaoyang asked cautiously, Dad, what should we do now? Lin Wanda said in a deep voice, here comes someone. Several bodyguards in black walked into the room. Lin Wanda ordered, pass me an order to summon all the people who can be mobilized and look for a young man named Ye Tiance throughout the city. No matter where he is or what he is doing, we must invite him back to the Lin family. Remember, I only give you 3 hours. Several bodyguards looked at each other and nodded solemnly, yes. After several bodyguards left, Lin Wanda frowned and murmured softly, I hope God will bless me and find Dr. Yi smoothly. At the same time, the Penglai Pavilion banquet hall was very lively. On the stage, there was a group of voluptuous women wearing hanfu, dancing classical dance with graceful movements, like fairies descending to earth. The name Penglai Pavilion is perfectly appropriate. Off the stage, the guests were chatting with each other or enjoying the show. Ye Tiance found a chair and sat down. Thinking that it would still be a while before the birthday party started, I felt a little bored. I took out my phone to kill some time, but found that I forgot to charge it and it was out of power and shut down. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded, Sir, are we meeting again? Look up, I saw a woman wearing a silver-white cheongsam with a perfect figure standing in front of me, with a charming smile on her face. Ye Tiance's eyelids couldn't help but twitch. Good guy, it's her. Why does she follow me wherever I go? Rong Meiyan asked, can I sit in the empty seat next to you? Ye Tiance couldn't refuse, so he could only nod and said, convenient. Thanks. Rong Meiyan sat quietly next to him, glanced at Ye Tiance, and found that he was not squinting, not staring at her. He's quite a gentleman. However, Rong Meiyan's unique temperament attracted the attention of many other guests. Let me go, that woman is so attractive. Do you recognize her? I don't know her, but just looking at her makes my heart itch. If I can spend one night with her, it would be worth dying for, hee hee. Don't be too obscene. Who can come to the birthday banquet today without some background and strength? Don't offend people you shouldn't offend by talking too much. Ji Boduan, who was entertaining the guests at this time, also noticed Rong Meiyan when he heard the guests discussing in low voices, eyes widened. Damn it, there is such a superb woman. Compared to Han Ruoyun, they are not inferior, and they even have a different flavor. It happened that Han Ruoyun refused to attend today's birthday banquet because he lacked a female companion, so Ji Boduan rolled his eyes and stepped forward quickly. He put on an expression that he thought he was handsome. He greeted Rong Meiyan, "Hello, beauty, I am Ji Boduan, the second young master of the Ji family in Jiangnan. If you need any help, please feel free to ask." Rong Meiyan shook her head and said, "There's nothing I need help with." Ji Boduan continued, "Beauty, you are sitting here too far from the front of the stage. How about I take you to sit in front, closest to the main table? What you don't know is that the top big names present today will be placed at the main table. I can help you make connections. If you can make friends with them, you will benefit a lot." Rong Meiyan said lightly, "No need." Ah. This. Ji Boduan was quite surprised. In his opinion, being able to sit close to the main table is a coveted opportunity for the guests, because it is a symbol of status, but he was refused. Is it because the temptation conditions are not enough? Ji Boduan coughed lightly and continued, "Beauty, you must have heard that Rong Meiyan, the eldest daughter of the Rong family, will come to celebrate her birthday today. She and I have known each other for a long time, so she will hear what I say. As long as I nod, I can help introduce you to Rong Meiyan to meet. Such a rare opportunity cannot be missed." "Oh." Rong Meiyan raised her eyebrows slightly and said with a half-smile, "Do you really know that young lady from the Rong family?" Ji Boduan patted his chest and said, "Of course." At this moment, Ye Tiance, who was sitting next to him, suddenly laughed. "This season, Boduan has the same virtue as his brother and likes to brag. You must know that the status of the Ji family is far different from that of the Rong family. How can a mere second young master of the Ji family let the young lady of the Rong family listen to whatever she says? This kind of talk can only deceive a young girl who is just starting out." Only then did Ji Boduan notice Ye Tiance. He was stunned for a moment, then his face darkened. Unhappy scolded, "What are you laughing at, you loser?" Ye Tiance smiled and said, "What a big boy. Dad can laugh whenever he wants. It's not your turn to care." Ji Boduan's face was ashen and he said, "Young man named Ji, you've never finished playing with this joke, right? If you have the guts, try another one. I'll beat you to death today." Ye Tiance pretended to be disappointed and shook his head, "Alas. You knelt down to call me daddy, and now you want to torture me to death. You are an unfilial family." Grass. Ji Boduan's defense was completely broken and he cursed, "You fucking brought this on yourself." He raised his foot and kicked Ye Tiance. Although he suffered a loss last time at Tianlong Hotel, Ji Boduan firmly believed that it was an accident. This time, the advantage is mine. However, when he was about to kick Ye Tiance's face with his right foot, the latter grabbed his ankle with lightning speed. Whist. Oh shit. Ji Boduan's body instantly lost its center of gravity, and by coincidence, he knelt down and hit the ground. Thump. The movement is big and the sound is loud. It instantly attracted the attention of countless people around, all with shocked expressions on their faces. Good guy, why did young Master Ji kneel down? Today is not the Chinese New Year. As for Ye Tiance, he looked at Ji Boduan who was kneeling in front of him, patting him on the shoulder. He said with a pleased look on his face, "You are indeed my good eldest son. Seeing your sincere attitude of admitting your mistake, my father forgives you." Chapter 42 Ye Tiance, please respect yourself. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The guests around me beeped in various voices. I'll go. When did young Master Ji get another father? Today is the 60th birthday of the Ji family leader, but the second young Master Ji kneels down and kowtows to others. It's so embarrassing. Is this the world of rich people? I have a lot of experience now. At this moment, Ji Boduan couldn't wait to find a crack in the ground and crawl in. As promised, I would kick Ye Tiance away and show off his face. Unexpectedly, my butt was exposed, still so embarrassing. He pushed away Ye Tiance's hand on his shoulder, blushed and shouted, "Shut your fucking mouth, I don't have you as my father." Ye Tiance deliberately said with a straight face, "The rebellious period is not good. Rebellious mud horse. I will fight with you." Ji Boduan was so angry that he struggled to stand up and was about to pounce on Ye Tiance. Wait, at this moment, a sound of scolding interrupted Ji Boduan. It turned out that Ji Boduan came over with an ugly expression. Ji Boduan said in confusion, "Brother, why are you stopping me? I want his life today." Ji Boduan scolded, "Shut up. It's a useless thing. Isn't it embarrassing enough? Back off." Ji Boduan could only snort in displeasure and take 2 steps back, but looking at Ye Tiance, his eyes almost burst into flames. Ji Boduan took a step forward, with a serious expression on his face. He ordered in a tone of voice, "My surname is Yi. I have reminded you to put your tail away when you come in, but you find trouble and hit someone. You are so arrogant. You have to kneel down and apologize to him in public." These words immediately attracted the attention of many people. Everyone was curious, who was so bold as to offend the second young master of the Ji family at the Ji family's birthday party. Even Xiao Qingcheng and others saw what was going on here and came over. Zhang Huilan saw Ye Tiance. His expression immediately turned disgusted and he said, "You are a white-eyed wolf again. Young master Ren Ji kindly lets you in to eat and drink. If you are not grateful, forget about it. You still have to beat his brother. Aren't you human?" Xiao Nan scolded, "You still have the nerve to sit there. Kneel down and apologize to Master Ji heir." Ye Tiance raised his head slightly and said calmly, "Please, you two, please make it clear that it was Ji Boduan who took the initiative to make trouble, and it was not me who started the trouble." Ji Boduan scolded, "You are so rude. Today is my father's 60th birthday. On such an important occasion, why would my brother take the initiative to find trouble with the guests? It's obviously you who deliberately stirred up trouble and wanted to cause trouble at the birthday banquet." Ji Boduan echoed, "That's right, please don't accuse good people unfairly. I'm not looking for trouble. I took the initiative." Ye Tiance sneered and said, "Ha! You two brothers are so incompetent, but you are good at frame-up." A flash of displeasure flashed in Ji Boduan's eyes. He turned to Xiao Qingcheng and said, "Qingcheng, have you seen how arrogant this man named Yi is? To be honest, if it wasn't for your sake, I would have asked someone to throw him out." Xiao Qingcheng first apologized, "Young Master Ji, I'm sorry for causing you trouble." Then she frowned and said coldly, "Ye Tiance, are you done with it? No matter how surly and arrogant you are, you still have to learn to distinguish between occasions, right?" Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes slightly and asked, "Do you mean you don't believe what I said?" Xiao Qingcheng sneered, How do you think you are trustworthy in my eyes now?" As soon as she filed for divorce, he went to find other women to have affairs with and make love. In order to retaliate against her, she deliberately sabotaged the bidding meeting, causing her to lose 100 billion. Orders. How could she trust such a person? Ye Tiance laughed at himself. He shook his head and said, "Yes, I have always been dispensable in your eyes. Of course, no matter what I say, there is no credibility. I can't compare with the so-called rich young man. You blame me for being sentimental." Xiao Qingcheng felt an inexplicable pain in her heart, and she wanted to explain, but hesitated. Finally, he still said seriously, "Since you understand everything, why don't you apologize to Master Ji heir?" Ye Tiance said calmly, "I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize?" Xiao Qingcheng's tone increased. "You said you did nothing wrong. Can you provide evidence? Can anyone testify for you?" The surrounding guests averted their eyes, and no one came out to testify. Ye Tiance was not surprised by this. After all, they were on the Ji family's territory and would not dare to offend the Ji family. Seeing Ye Tiance, he didn't say a word. Xiao Qingcheng looked disappointed and said coldly, "No one can testify for you that I have not wronged you, so you should." Halfway through the sentence, suddenly a voice interrupted her. "I can testify." These words were exactly what Rong Meiyan said. Everyone was stunned and confused. Who is this stunning beauty? Ye Tiance was quite surprised. He didn't expect her to get involved. Xiao Qingcheng's eyes fell on Rong Meiyan. The woman in front of her was no less beautiful than her in appearance and figure, especially her aura of superiority from the inside out actually made her feel inexplicable pressure. Trying to keep her composure, she asked, "Madam, what can you testify about?" Rong Meiyan said calmly, "I prove that you have wronged Mr. Ye." It was indeed the second young master of the Ji family who came to make trouble just now, and he was the one who made the move first. Mr. Ye was just forced to fight back. Although this sentence was said plainly, when it came out of her mouth, it was like a needle that calms the sea. It won't raise any doubts at all. Ji Boduan and Ji Boxiao looked a little embarrassed. Unexpectedly, they were slapped in the face just as they tried to take advantage of Ye Tiance. Rong Meiyan continued, "I have long heard that Mr. Xiao is known as a cold, beautiful, intelligent and outstanding person in the business community of Jiangnan City. When I saw him today, it was indeed true, but—" She suddenly changed the topic and said with a half-smile, "It's just the level of judgment, it's really average." This sentence is tantamount to slapping Xiao Qingcheng in the face in public. There was a rare hint of embarrassment in her cold expression. At this time, Zhang Huilan scolded unhappily, "Who are you? Do you have a role to speak here?" Rong Meiyan asked with a calm expression, "Who am I that I should report to you?" Zhang Huilan said proudly, "Huh. Don't just pretend that you are pretty, I don't care about that, I'm just warning you, not everyone can point to my Qingcheng. Not to scare you, she is a distinguished guest invited to the Ji family's birthday banquet. The young lady from the Rong family is coming to the birthday banquet today and will even choose her to be a business partner. Could the existence of this status be caused by you?" Xiao Nan echoed, "That's right, offending my sister is equivalent to slapping Miss Rong's face. You can't afford the consequences." Rong Meiyan narrowed her eyes slightly and was preparing to speak. Ye Tiance stood up slowly at this time. He glanced at everyone and frowned, "If you want to target me, you can come directly. There is no need to involve irrelevant people." Then he said to Rong Meiyan, "Miss, I'm sorry for getting you involved, these are my personal grievances and I can resolve them myself. Thank you for speaking out just now." Rong Meiyan smiled slightly, nodded, and did not continue speaking. When Xiao Qingcheng saw the two people talking like this, he suddenly remembered that he had seen this woman the night before, but he had too many things to do at the time, so he didn't pay much attention. Today I actually sat with Ye Tiance again, the day before yesterday it was Han Ruoyun, today it is this beauty. For some reason, each one of them gave her an indescribable sense of crisis, inexplicable. She looked unhappy and suddenly said, "Ye Tiance, although we have filed for divorce, we have not actually received the divorce certificate yet. I hope you can respect yourself before that and don't abuse yourself." Chapter 43 Where should a man with a net worth of 1 trillion sit at? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Tiance raised his eyebrows. "What do you mean?" Xiao Qingcheng said coldly, "Do you have to point me out in public?" Ye Tiance said, "I'm really not afraid of slanting shadows." "Just say so, Mr. Xiao." Xiao Qingcheng's eyes flashed with disappointment. He said in a cold voice, "Aren't you just unhappy about being divorced by me? In order to prove that I will regret it, you started contacting other women again and again in front of me? You think I would be jealous, but today I, Xiao Qingcheng, put my words here. No matter what kind of woman you are with in the future or what achievements you achieve, I will never regret it. Because everything I got today was obtained with my own hands, and no matter what you do, you can only rely on other women, and you can't change your own worthlessness. Therefore, I advise you to respect yourself and don't expect to prove anything in front of me by using this clever method. This will only make me more convinced that divorce is the most correct choice." These words are very sharp. Zhang Huilan said with satisfaction, "Well done. You don't have to give him face when you treat this white-eyed wolf." Xiao Nan also echoed, "Sister, he should have said this a long time ago to stop his thoughts and let him know how much of a clown he is." As for the brothers Ji Boduan and Ji Boxiao, they couldn't help but rejoice in their misfortune. They found that it was much more satisfying to let Xiao Qingcheng slap Ye Tiance in the face than to do it themselves. Faced with the ridicule of everyone, Ye Tiance was neither humble nor overbearing. He stared at Xiao Qingcheng and said coldly, "Mr. Xiao, I also want to make it clear that being confident is a good thing, but when you are too confident, it becomes narcissism, which makes people disgusted. Maybe you are the one who should be more careful. Self-respecting people. Xiao Qingcheng's face became a little ugly. This is the first time he has said such serious words to her since she married Ye Tiance. For the sake of your own pitiful dignity, you just started biting people randomly, right? Zhang Huilan scolded. Bah! How dare you, a guy like you, hate others? It's disgusting to look at. Xiaonan discussed with Ji Boduan. Young Master Ji, can you drive this trash out? He's too arrogant. This. Ji Boduan frowned slightly. Why didn't he want to drive Ye Tiance out? But he had already tried it at the door just now and failed in the end. Suddenly, he thought of something, and a hint of evil flashed in his eyes. He sneered. Yi, you are attending my dad's birthday banquet as a guest. I have no reason to kick you out, but on such an important occasion today, we must pay attention to the seating rules and everyone must abide by them. Although you can come in, you can't sit anywhere. Ye Tiance knew that Ji Boduan was holding back something bad again, so he took advantage of the situation and asked, I wonder what the seating rules are. Ji Boduan raised his right hand, pretending to be superior, and introduced, the guests who came to attend the birthday banquet today are all elites and powerful people, so the seating rules are also very simple. They are sorted according to their net worth. Ye Tiance became interested and continued to ask, oh. How to sort them by net worth? Ji Bo pointed with his finger to the row of tables farthest from the stage. He said slightly disdainfully, the one with a millionaire sits at that table. Then, he pointed to a row of tables slightly in the middle and said, the man with a net worth of tens of millions sits here. Then he pointed to a row of tables closer to the stage and said, the man with a net worth of over 100 million is sitting there. As for the most dazzling main table today. Finally, he pointed to the main table in the front row, in the middle, and with the largest area, he said proudly, except for our Ji family, if you want to sit there, you must have a net worth of 1 billion. These people are the top heroes in Jiangnan City. Even after Miss Rong Meiyan arrives, they will all sit there. As soon as these words came out, many guests present looked at the main table, ready to move in their hearts. It's a pity that my net worth is not enough to qualify. Ji Boduan glanced at Ye Tiance with contempt and said disdainfully, the place where you are sitting happens to be the table for guests with a net worth of tens of millions, according to the seating rules. Do you think your poor net worth is worthy of sitting here? Hee hee. The people around immediately burst into laughter. Xiaonan sneered, what kind of wealth can he, a loser who can only eat soft food, have? He is not even worthy of a table with a net worth of 1 million. Ji Boduan pointed in the direction of the door. He deliberately said, if you don't have a net worth of 1 million, you don't deserve to be on the table. I think he is still worthy of squatting at the door. I will ask the waiter to bring him a bowl later. Maybe a kind person can give him some leftovers. Ha ha ha. Even Xiao Qingcheng shook his head slightly and sighed. She didn't understand. Ye Tiance knew that he would be ridiculed if he came today, so why did he humiliate himself? But judging from his appearance, he probably can't hold on any longer and needs to leave. But Ye Tiance's expression remained calm. He stood up slowly and asked calmly, are you sure you decide where to sit based on your net worth? Ji Boduan raised his chest and said, that's natural. What? You realize that your net worth is less than 1 million, and you are ready to go to the door. Before he finished speaking, he saw Ye Tiance spreading his legs and striding away, but he didn't go towards the door of the banquet hall. But in the complete opposite direction. Ji Boduan subconsciously reminded, Yi, you're going in the wrong direction. It's on the other side of the door. Ye Tiance turned a deaf ear. I saw that, in full view of everyone. He actually walked straight to the main table closest to the stage. He pulled out a chair and sat down without hesitation. This move first silenced the entire banquet hall for more than 10 seconds, then there was an uproar. He actually sits at the head table. Doesn't that qualify him if he has a net worth of 1 billion? How is he sitting at the head table? He is simply sitting on the Ji family's face with his butt. It's so arrogant. You don't give any face to the Ji family. At this moment, Ji Boduan's face was ashen. He thought he could embarrass Ye Tiance, but he didn't expect that this guy would actually slap his nose on his face. I really can't bear it. He hurried over and cursed, who allowed you to sit here, surnamed Yi? Stand up. Ye Tiance crossed his legs and said calmly, didn't you say that anyone with a net worth of 1 billion can sit here? Why did you drive me away? Ji Boduan's eyes twitched and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. You have the nerve to ask why? I said someone with a net worth of 1 billion is qualified to sit down. Are you worth 1 billion? Ye Tiance shook his head and said, I am indeed not worth a billion. Everyone present immediately booed. If you don't have a net worth of 1 billion, you just sit at the main table. What are you if you're not a clown? Xiao Qingcheng couldn't help but frown. She didn't understand why Ye Tiance always did these sensational things. Do you really have no dignity at all? Ji Boduan clenched his fists, gritted his teeth and threatened, if you don't have a net worth of 1 billion, then get out of this table. My patience is limited. Ye Tiance smiled lightly. It's okay if you want me to leave this table. Please change me to a table that matches my net worth of 1 trillion yuan. This shabby table with a net worth of 1 billion yuan is really not worthy of me. Chapter 44 Ji Wuli. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Ye Tiance's words, everyone present was stunned at first, and then burst into laughter. Ji Boduan laughed and said, my surname is Yi. Are you a real clown, or are you just pretending to be a clown? Do you know what it means to be worth 1 trillion? Ji Boduan laughed and said, isn't it the Zimbabwean currency you are talking about? You really can't even brag. Zhang Huilan curled her lips and said, don't say that this white-eyed wolf has 1 trillion, even if it has 100 million, I will kowtow to him and apologize. Xiao Nan even rolled his eyes, if a waste like him could have 1 trillion yuan, I would be the richest man in the world. Xiao Qingcheng raised her forehead slightly. Oh. What are you thinking about every day? When will you be practical? This time, even Rong Meiyan had a flash of doubt in her eyes. You know, as one of the 4 major families in the provincial capital, the Rong family is a powerful family in the entire Tiannan province, with accumulated assets of about 100 billion, with assets exceeding 1 trillion, not to mention in Tiannan province, even in the whole country, they are still the top super families. And he, Ye Tiance, said that he was worth trillions. No matter who hears this, it is impossible to believe it. In the face of public doubts, Ye Tiance said calmly, my words are true. If you don't believe me, you can verify the balance of this card. He pulled out a completely black bank card. Unlike common bank cards, it has no card number, no bank logo, and not even the UnionPay logo. Only in the center is a silver dragon-shaped pattern. Little is known, this kind of card is actually called the Supreme Emperor card. It will only be granted if the deposit exceeds 1 trillion yuan. There are only 10 cards in the world. Any bank around the world can handle business, and the identity information of the cardholder will be strictly confidential. This card was given to the super-rich man imprisoned in Fallen City by Bill Musk. It's just that Ji Boduan and others present today don't recognize it. For a time, all kinds of ridicule continued in the crowd. His broken card doesn't even have a card number. How can he check the balance of the yarn? I really think this person has a mental problem because he was asked for divorce by Mr. Xiao. It's strange. Mr. Xiao is so beautiful and capable. Why did he marry this loser in the first place? Xiao Qingcheng stepped forward and said seriously to Ye Tiance, have you had enough trouble? Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? Ye Tiance sneered and asked, are you worried that I will be embarrassed? No, you are actually worried that my so-called embarrassment will involve you and affect your Mr. Zhao's face, right? Xiao Qingcheng subconsciously wanted to retort, but her lips moved but she couldn't speak, because she does have such selfish thoughts. At this time, Ji Boduan looked at the time, he frowned and said, the birthday banquet is about to start. Mr. Yi, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Quickly stand up and get to the door. Don't continue to be in a bad mood here. Ye Tiance had no intention of moving his but, he raised his eyebrows and asked, I'm sitting here according to the seating rules, why do you tell me to get out of here? Ji Boduan looked impatient. Stop talking nonsense. Are you going to get out? If you don't blame me for asking someone to drive you away. Ji Boduan pointed at his nose and cursed, you bitch, don't be so shameless. Our Ji family is not a place where you can act wild. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes slightly before he could speak. In the direction of the entrance of the banquet hall, the displeased voice of a middle-aged man sounded first. Who dares to go wild on our Ji family's territory? But everyone turned to look. I saw a group of people slowly walking into the banquet hall. The leader was a middle-aged and elderly man wearing a long red coat, with a lean build and a hooked nose. A sinister and cold light flashed in his triangular eyes. He is Ji Wuli, the head of the Ji family, one of the three major families in Jiangnan City. According to legend, this man was extremely powerful and ruthless, and very few people in the Jiangnan City business community dared to go against him. Half a body behind him is Han Tianzheng, the head of the Han family, wearing a black suit. One body further behind, two middle-aged men followed. They are Li Jinye, chairman of Ningyuan Group, and Xie Bin, chairman of Hongda Group. The above four are all important figures in Jiangnan City. The appearance of several people immediately aroused the smiling faces of a large number of guests, especially when facing Ji Wuli. He knelt down and licked the condom almost. Congratulations to Master Ji. Master Ji, today is your 60th birthday. I wish you longevity as long as Nanshan Mountain and happiness as great as the East China Sea. Master Ji, after the eldest lady of the Rong family comes here, please help me with some introductions. Thank you very much. Ji Wuli clasped his fists at everyone and said with a smile, everyone can be honored to attend Ji's birthday today. Ji should treat you with courtesy. Please forgive me if the reception is not good. Then, his tone became slightly colder and he said, but if someone deliberately acts wild today, I'm afraid Ji won't be able to treat him politely. His eyes shot straight out and landed directly in front of Ye Tiance, sitting at the main table. And slowly walked over there. You know, today is his birthday party. For someone to sit there without his permission is simply disrespectful to him. Although Ji Wuli's steps were slow, every time he landed on the ground, he exuded a strong coercion to the surroundings. He stopped when he reached the main table. He didn't look at Ye Tiance, but asked Ji Boduan, what's going on? At this time, a layer of cold sweat broke out on Ji Bo's forehead. As for today's birthday party, he is responsible for organizing it. If anything goes wrong, he will take the blame. He knows his father's temper very well, and he also knows the consequences of his father's anger. So he hurriedly opened his mouth and told the story of the incident. He naturally avoided some important points and put the blame on Ye Tiance. After hearing this, Ji Wuli narrowed his triangular eyes slightly and looked Ye Tiance up and down. He said calmly, so you are Ye Tiance, and I have heard of your reputation many times in the past 2 days. What? You didn't have enough trouble at Lord Long's Tenderer meeting, and you want to make another trouble at my Ji Mao birthday party today? Anyone familiar with Ji Wuli knows this. When he squinted his eyes, he was already angry. Once it happens, the consequences will be disastrous. Even Han Tianzheng frowned slightly at this time. This guy has provoked all the top big shots in Jiangnan City in just 2 days. Is he really crazy? Fortunately, I agreed to his request to break off the engagement, otherwise, the Han family would have been implicated long ago and would be in trouble. As for Ye Tiance, when he faced Ji Wuli's question, he smiled calmly and said, I didn't take the initiative to cause trouble when I came here today. On the contrary, your 2 useless sons came to provoke me endlessly. I remind you, Master Ji, to discipline you more in the future, otherwise sooner or later, the 2 of them will create a big trap and plunge the Ji family into a situation of no return. Chapter 45 The birthday party begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After these words were spoken, everyone present's expressions changed and they were all in an uproar. Here, is this kid crazy? He actually educated the head of the Ji family in public. On the 60th birthday of the head of the Ji family, he threatened that the Ji family would be plunged into a situation of eternal disaster. How bold, that even Xiao Qingcheng's eyelids twitched. Unexpectedly, Ye Tiance would act so arrogantly when facing Ji Wuli. What on earth does he want to do? The most excited people on the scene at this time were the brothers Ji Boduan and Ji Boxiao. Ji Boduan pointed at Ye Tiance's nose and scolded, Yi, don't talk nonsense. How does my father educate us? It's none of your business. Ji Boduan even raised his arms and said, "Trash, I must give you some color today." At this moment, Wuli suddenly raised his hand and said, "Don't be impulsive." I saw a kind smile actually appeared on his sullen face. He said to Ye Tiance, "Mr. Ye's words make some sense. From now on, Ji will discipline the two dogs well. Please don't take the past quarrels to your heart. Here, I will apologize to you for the two dogs." Hear this, everyone present looked at Ji Wuli in astonishment. The dignified head of the Ji family, when someone disrespects him in person, not only does he not get angry, but he first apologizes to them, right? Why do this? Ji Boduan couldn't accept it and said quickly, "Dad. How can you speak for that loser? You know this kid has." "Shut up." Ji Wuli scolded him coldly, interrupting Ji Boduan's words. Ji Wuli's pair of inverted triangle eyes flashed with a sinister light, and he lowered his voice to Ji Boduan, "Don't forget what I told you yesterday. You must know what is most important to the Ji family today, and don't let your emotions influence your judgment. But a small gain is lost." Ji Boduan and Ji Boduan looked at each other and nodded. Last night, his father Ji Wuli asked the two brothers to tell them something. That's why today's birthday banquet is very important. It is not just a birthday banquet, but a great opportunity for the Ji family to win over various forces in Jiangnan City. You must know that the Ji family was blacklisted by the Tianlong group, and the future was originally uncertain. Fortunately, the Rong family appeared in time and gave the Ji family a new opportunity. Today, most of the guests who can come to the birthday banquet are actually here to curry favor with the Rong family. In this way, the Ji family plays the role of middleman. Therefore, in front of these guests, the Ji family must show a warm and kind side. If they are too domineering and powerful, they will naturally arouse fear and criticism. To put it bluntly, Ji Wuli had to show an approachable demeanor today, so, Ji Wuli continued to Ye Tiance, "Since Mr. Yi is willing to sit at the main table, let's sit here. After all, our Ji family does not lack a pair of bowls and chopsticks." Hear the words, the guests present not only gave thumbs up and praised. As expected of the head of the Ji family, in the face of disrespect, he still has a broad mind and a big picture. TSK. The Ji family has such a big heart, so they must be tolerant of us, and we will definitely follow them wholeheartedly from now on. Ji Wuli's lips curved into a proud smile. This is what he wants. Immediately, he stepped forward and patted Ye Tiance's shoulder. He threatened in a low voice, "Young man, I just gave you a favor, so just take care of yourself, get out of here as soon as you finish your meal, and don't make yourself uncomfortable again, otherwise, I won't mind crushing an ant to death." After saying that, he immediately returned to his kind look. He smiled and asked all the guests to take their seats. The speed of changing faces is really fast. Sitting at the main table at this time are the three Ji family masters, Han Tianzheng, Xia Bin, Li Jingye, Xiao Qingcheng, Zhang Huilan, Xiao Nan, and Ye Tiance. Next to Ji Wuli, there was an empty seat, which happened to be in the middle. Obviously, it was reserved for Rong Meiyan. However, the atmosphere at the main table was a little subtle at this time. Zhang Huilan and Xiao Nan stared at Ye Tiance, full of disgust and resentment. Originally, they thought that being able to sit at the main table today would show off their status and allow them to go out and show off. Unexpectedly, Ye Tiance would be shameless enough to sit here, and he immediately lowered his level. If the head of the Ji family hadn't agreed to let Ye Tiance sit here, the two of them had already stood up and started chasing people away. Brothers Ji Boduan and Ji Boduan looked at him with disdain. How shameless, let him sit, and he actually sat here. As for Xia Bin and Li Jingye, their faces were also very ugly. At the bidding meeting held by Master Tianlong the other day, if Ye Tiance hadn't made such a fool of himself, he would not have been cancelled by the Tianlong group and blacklisted from all cooperation. As a result, the vitality of the two groups was severely damaged and they suffered heavy losses. I really wanted to go up and give Ye Tiance a good beating, only then can you relieve the hatred in your heart. As for Han Tianzheng, his expression was slightly complicated. To be honest, he had a good or bad impression of Ye Tiance, but Ye Tiance's actions offended countless enemies, which naturally made him, who cherished feathers, not want to be involved, so he simply pretended not to know Ye Tiance and didn't say hello. Only Xiao Qingcheng was actually sitting next to Ye Tiance. He warned Ye Tiance in a low voice, Ji family master has forgiven your mistakes and even allowed you to sit at the head table. This is enough forgiveness and courtesy. I don't ask you to thank others, but please stop being a villain and continue to find trouble. Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes and asked, is it my villain's heart? Is the Ji family forgiving and polite? Xiao Qingcheng said naturally, isn't it? Ah, Ye Tiance shook his head and sneered, saying nothing to her. Humph, Xiao Qingcheng turned away unhappily, feeling aggrieved and unhappy. She really didn't understand that it was all Ye Tiance's fault, so why did she still insist on it? At this time, Ji Boduan looked at the time on his watch and asked, Dad, the birthday banquet time has come, but Miss Rong's family hasn't come yet. Look. Ji Wuli frowned, he is only the protagonist in today's birthday banquet. Miss Rong Meiyan is the one who attracts the most attention. It would be fine without her. Ji Boduan said worriedly, Dad. Will Rong Meiyan not come? Ji Wuli snorted coldly, who is Miss Rong's family? Why didn't she come? Besides, she will definitely obey the second master's orders. In my opinion, she must have been delayed by something on the way. In this way, the birthday banquet can start normally, maybe Miss Rong will arrive later. Yes. Ji Boduan nodded and began to order the staff to prepare for the birthday banquet. The beautiful dancers who were dancing folk dances on the stage left the stage one after another. Then a male host wearing a white suit came up. He holds the microphone, he said cheerfully, Good afternoon, all guests. Thank you for attending the 60th birthday banquet of the Ji family. On this special day, the Ji family has something to express to you. I would like to invite Mr. Ji Wuli to speak on the stage. Chapter 46 The words he wrote are worthless. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the audience, the guests burst into applause. Ji Wuli walked onto the stage amidst the cheers of everyone. With a smile on his face, he said, Ji once again expresses his gratitude to everyone for coming. I believe that today's birthday banquet will be a link for your in-depth cooperation with the Ji family in the future. We can trust each other, support each other, and create brilliance together. The guests applauded and cheered. Master Ji is right, from now on we will follow the leadership of the Ji family. Yes, as long as we work together, no one will look down upon us. Ji Wuli nodded with satisfaction. At this moment, he had a strong premonition. After today's birthday banquet is successfully concluded, the Ji family's influence in Jiangnan city will be further enhanced, an existence that can even rival the Jiangnan king Long Yi and the underground emperor Hu Yi. Ji Wuli continued, I think you all know that I will not charge any gifts or money for this birthday banquet. After all, Ji values partners more than profits. And in order to thank all my relatives and friends for coming, I will specially put a picture for you and give it to you. The guests present all excitedly praised. I've long heard that Master Ji's calligraphy skills are first-rate, even as good as those of some great calligraphers, and today I'm actually lucky enough to witness it. TSK, given the status of the head of the Ji family, the words he mentioned are probably worth $1,000. Soon, the staff moved the table to the stage, along with pens, ink, paper and inkstones. In the expectant eyes of everyone, Ji Wuli picked up his brush and began to move around on the rice paper, dancing like dragons and phoenixes. Swish swish. After a while, a word was written. The two etiquette ladies raised the rice paper and showed it to everyone. I saw the 4 characters perseverance written on it. The guests in the audience immediately started to praise. The character of Ji family master is strong and strong, like a silver hook drawn by iron. It perfectly blends with the 4 characters of perseverance. How wonderful! What a calligraphy! What a calligraphy! If this were hung in the company's office, it would be a treasure of the town. I wonder if Master Ji can part with his love and give this calligraphy to me. I'm willing to pay a reward. Master Ji, I am also willing to pay for this calligraphy. Ji Wuli said with a troubled look on his face, You are all my partners, but I only have this piece of writing. No matter who I give it to, it seems unfair. Li Jingye stood up and reminded with a smile, Master Ji, there is an auction for today's birthday banquet. In my opinion, you might as well put this calligraphy up for auction to give a good start to the next auction. As for this calligraphy, whoever bids the highest will get it first. This is the most fair and will not hurt everyone's harmony. Could it be that Ji Wuli acted on purpose? But I, Ji, don't covet your money. Isn't it inappropriate to do this? Liu Jingye hurriedly said, what's wrong? Your handwriting is worth thousands of gold, and everyone spends money to buy it from the bottom of their hearts. It's very appropriate, that with Liu Jingye taking the lead, the rest of the guests naturally also opened their mouths to support, let Ji Wuli auction this word. At this time, Ji Wuli had no choice but to sigh reluctantly, oh. In this case, I would rather obey Ji than respect him. As for the starting price of this calligraphy, I will set it lower, maybe 10,000 yuan. In the guest seats under the stage, each chair has a bidding sign with a number written on it. The guests quickly rush to raise their placards and bid. I'll pay 5. I'll pay 8. What's 8? I'll pay 10. The bidding price skyrocketed, quickly reaching over 30, and is still increasing. The most famous calligraphy master in Jiangnan City only charges more than 20 yuan for an inscription. This made Ji Wuli on the stage beam with joy. My self-esteem has been greatly satisfied. Main table under the stage, I saw people bidding fiercely for Ji Wuli's words. Zhang Huilan hurriedly reminded Xiao Qingcheng, girl, we can come to the birthday banquet today, and even have the opportunity to become partners with the Rong family, all without the help of the Ji family. Therefore, you must find a way to take a picture of the calligraphy of Master Ji to leave a good impression on others. Xiao Nan also agreed. It is foreseeable that the Ji family's status in Jiangnan City will even surpass Master Hu and Master Long in the future. By then, the value of the Ji family's pen and ink will definitely increase. Xiao Qingcheng nodded, I understand. She raised the sign to bid and said loudly, I'll offer 60. Xiao Qingcheng's fate directly increased the bidding price by hundreds of thousands, which caused many cash-strapped guests to give up bidding. The few remaining guests continue to bid. I'll pay 61. I'll pay 63. Xiao Qingcheng did not hesitate and raised the sign again. I will offer 80. This time, more than half of the bidding guests were eliminated. Only 2 people were left struggling to support themselves. I'll pay 81. I'll pay 83. Xiao Qingcheng, on the other hand, did not hesitate and directly held up a sign and said, I will offer 100 million. There was an uproar at the scene. 100 million can afford the calligraphy of a well-known domestic calligraphy master, which far exceeds the value of the calligraphy of Master Ji. What's more, 100 million in cash is not a small amount, at least for the millionaire guests here today. It is difficult to come up with it. Even a guest with a net worth of tens of millions is equivalent to cutting off flesh. As for guests with a net worth of over 100 million, they can afford million, but considering that Xiao Qingcheng is not only a celebrity of the Ji family, but also the object of Ji Boduan's admiration, and even has a good chance of becoming a business partner of the Rong family, therefore, instead of bidding against her, it is better to go with the flow. So this time, no one continued to bid with Xiao Qingcheng. Naturally, this calligraphy was acquired by Xiao Qingcheng at a price of 100 million. Ji Wuli clapped his hands and smiled with great satisfaction. Mr. Xiao is young and promising, and has a keen eye for treasures. Ji really appreciates it. When Miss Rong Meiyan comes later, Ji will definitely recommend it. Xiao Qingcheng quickly stood up. She couldn't hide her excitement and said, thank you for your love, Master Ji. Qingcheng will definitely work hard and live up to your expectations. After sitting down, Xiao Qingcheng still looked happy. Zhang Huilan said proudly, I just said it was right to let you participate in the bidding. Now it is confirmed by the head of the Ji family. How great! Xiao Nan smiled and reminded, sister, after all, this is the opportunity that Master Ji gave us to attend the birthday banquet. You should thank him more. Xiao Qingcheng nodded and said with a smile, thank you, young Master Ji. Ji Boduan pretended to be calm and said, it's just a small thing. For you, I can do no matter how much you ask me to do. He was filled with excitement inside. If he continues at this pace, it won't be long before he can completely defeat Xiao Qingcheng. When you are proud, he looked at Ye Tiance, who was sitting there silently. He couldn't help but sarcastically said, Yi, have you seen the difference between you and our Ji family? My dad can sell a piece of text for 100 million just by mentioning it. I'm afraid a waste like you won't be able to make any money in his life. Are you here? He originally thought that Ye Tiance would feel inferior and embarrassed. Unexpectedly, the other party responded calmly, how much of this 100 million is the artistic value of the words, and how much is flattery, don't you know in your mind? Ji Boduan's face changed slightly, and he asked coldly, what do you mean? My father's calligraphy art is not of high value. Is it all touted by others? Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, you misunderstood. In my opinion, it's not that his calligraphy has low artistic value, but that it has no value at all and is worthless. Chapter 47, If you have the ability, can you write a word? You are listening at novelfull.audio. This sentence directly caused the expressions of the rest of the people at the main table to change. This guy. How dare you ridicule Ji family master's calligraphy as worthless? Zhang Huilan scolded, shut up. Do you know what you are talking about? If you want to die, jump off the building, don't involve us. Xiao Nan scolded, you're a loser who only knows how to eat and drink, and you don't know anything about calligraphy. Don't embarrass yourself here, shut up. Even Xiao Qingcheng frowned and warned, Ye Tiance. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as a mute. She came to Ji Wuli's birthday banquet today just to take this opportunity to build connections with the Rong family in the provincial capital. You are absolutely not allowed to be affected by Ye Tiance's random words and deeds. Ye Tiance's expression was normal and he said, please, Mr. Xiao, please don't double standard. It was Ji Boduan who found trouble first, not me. Besides, I just told the truth. Xiao Qingcheng was choked and stunned. On the other hand, Ji Boduan, who had a hot temper, couldn't sit still. He stood up and slapped the table and cursed, you bitch, you slapped your nose on your face and you want to get beaten, don't you? This action immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the banquet hall to the main table. What happened? Also looking over was Ji Wuli. He frowned and said, Bo Xiao, calm down, what's going on? Ji Boduan complained, Dad. This bitch just said that your calligraphy is worthless. It was all because of everyone's flattery that it was auctioned for 100 million, the entire banquet hall immediately went into an uproar. This Ye Tiance is so brave, he even dares to tell such a big truth. Don't you die? At this time, Ji Wuli's face turned ugly, and his pair of inverted triangular eyes flashed with fierce light. If it were normal times, he would have gone crazy. But today is different from the past. He must control his emotions and show a big picture of his personality in front of everyone. After taking a few deep breaths, his expression gradually softened again. He raised his eyebrows and asked with a smile, oh. I don't know where Mr. Yi thinks Ji's calligraphy is lacking. Why don't you just speak up and give me some pointers? This sentence sounds funny on the surface, but in fact, you can still hear the displeasure. In fact, he just hit Ye Tiance from the side and asked him to think about it before answering. Don't let trouble come from your mouth. It's a pity that he met Ye Tiance, who didn't care about this at all. Ye Tiance answered truthfully, the most important factors in calligraphy are nothing more than brushwork, structure, style and mentality. Ji Jiazhu, although your writing skills are acceptable, the proportions of the fonts are not coordinated structurally, and the layout is not reasonable. As for style, you should have copied the fonts of many calligraphy masters, but unfortunately you have not learned the essence. To put it bluntly, they are just different. In terms of your final state of mind, the 4 words you wrote were perseverance. You clearly wanted to express your perseverance, but I felt a little indecisiveness from you. To sum up, I say that your calligraphy skills are average and worthless. What's wrong with that? At this moment, the entire banquet hall fell into silence, and you could hear a pin drop. You must know that most of the guests present today are powerful and wealthy people. He is quite involved in calligraphy, antiques and these. In fact, they all saw clearly in their hearts that the calligraphy written by Ji Wuli was just a good fan at most, and it really didn't have much artistic value. If they hadn't deliberately touted Ji Wuli, no one would have bought this calligraphy for 100 yuan on the market. But they dare not tell the truth. I would never have thought that someone would dare to say it in public. But Ye Tiance dared. And every detail will be revealed to everyone in a bloody way. This is even more embarrassing than the story The Emperor's New Clothes. At this moment, the corners of Ji Wuli's eyes on the stage were twitching fiercely, his face was red, and he was already on the verge of becoming angry. This bastard, I really dare to make him unable to get off stage. Seeing this, Li Jingye rolled his eyes and quickly stepped forward to save Ji Wuli. He scolded Ye Tiance in a deep voice, "That's nonsense. What an identity the head of the Ji family is. His writing has its own profound qualities. How can you point out it?" Xiebin also echoed, "You can only speak to others, but if you are capable, you can write a word and let everyone see what your level is." That the two people singing made the guests present feel relieved from their previous shock. They know very well who can be offended and who cannot be offended. So they all fired at Ye Tiance. Who doesn't know how to have fun? Are you able to write one yourself? If you're good, go ahead. If you're not good, just stop pushing. It's not you who can evaluate Master Ji. This is the standard troll, the kind who is submissive offline and punches hard online. Don't pay attention to him. That everyone present helped speak for Ji Wuli, which made his face soften a little. After sorting out my emotions, he sneered and said, "Mr. Yi, Mr. Ji also wants to learn about your calligraphy skills, and please come up on stage to show it to everyone. Only in this way, Mr. Ji can be convinced by your comments just now." That without waiting for Ye Tiance to respond, Zhang Huilan laughed and said, "Master Ji, he is just a loser who eats soft food. What kind of calligraphy does he know? It would be great if he can write his own name correctly." Xiao Nan said disdainfully, "You deserve it. I let you show off your pretense. Will you be embarrassed now?" Xiao Qingcheng sighed, full of hatred that iron cannot become steel. She didn't understand why Ye Tiance had to be so stubborn and antagonizing others. "Won't you give in and apologize?" Seeing that Ye Tiance remained silent, Ji Boduan thought he was coward. Naturally, he put on a sarcastic face and said, "Yi, weren't you very eloquent just now? Why are you so timid and silent now? Ha! If you don't know calligraphy, you should stop making random comments about others, otherwise your face will get swollen." Ye Tiance raised his eyebrows and smiled, "Oh. Who told you that I can't calligraphy?" Ji Boduan clicked his tongue and said, "I think you are a person who really won't shed tears until he sees the coffin. You are still pretending to be cool at this time, right? Okay, you go on stage and write a calligraphy now. If you can really write a calligraphy that is better than my dad's, I will not only forgive you for your previous behavior, but I will also apologize to you in front of everyone. But, if you fail to do it, or are too scared to go on stage, you must apologize to my father and get out of the birthday banquet hall in front of everyone. Do you dare to bet?" As soon as these words came out, the guests in the audience started laughing. In their opinion, although Ji Wuli's calligraphy is not top-notch, it is still at the level of an enthusiast who has practiced it for many years. Looking at Ye Tiance again, he is still in his 20s and has an unstable personality. How is it possible to be accomplished in calligraphy? Therefore, no matter what Ye Tiance chooses in this bet, it will be his embarrassment. But as the protagonist Ye Tiance, but his expression was calm and he said, "Just bet, why don't you dare?" He stood up and walked straight to the stage. After taking the stage, Ji Wuli, who was standing not far away, took the opportunity to lower his voice and sneered, "Little brat, since you've humiliated yourself, I'm looking forward to seeing you apologize later and get out of here in such a mess." Ye Tiance smiled confidently and said, "We'll see what happens." Immediately, Ye Tiance came to the table, pick up the brush, take a deep breath, and focus. Start writing on a new piece of rice paper. Swish swish. The pen moves like a dragon and a snake, penetrating the back of the paper. Between the pen and ink, there seems to be an invincible and unstoppable killing force. After a few breaths, stop writing. Ye Tiance said calmly, "Okay, let's show it to everyone." When the two hostesses lifted the rice paper and showed it to everyone in the audience, I saw 4 big characters popping up on the paper, "King of the World." The originally laughing and sarcastic audience suddenly became silent. Chapter 48 I offer 101 million. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because everyone discovered that the 4 characters Junlin Tian Xia on the rice paper were written like flowing clouds and flowing water, with majestic momentum. The strokes are strong and powerful, and the structure is rigorous. The most important is, they can actually feel the aura of a king descending and looking down on the world from these 4 words. One can't help but feel a sense of admiration. This calligraphy is not only something that can be described with good words, but top-notch calligraphy, perfect calligraphy that is perfect and perfect. At this moment, everyone at the main table was dumbfounded and deeply shocked by this painting. Xiao Qingcheng bit her lip lightly, her expression full of disbelief. He, Ye Tiance, can actually do calligraphy. Then why has he never said anything to me after 3 years of marriage? It seems that in the final analysis, he has never trusted me and treats me as an outsider. The banquet hall has been quiet, until, suddenly, there was a guest who knew a lot about calligraphy. He couldn't help but exclaimed, "Oh my God! The brushwork is skillful and free, the fonts are majestic, and it has great personality and artistic value. I have only seen this in my life," that he almost cried with joy. You can see the excitement. And this is tantamount to beating Ji Wuli's old face on the stage. His entire face was filled with shock, unwillingness, and even a little jealousy. He couldn't understand how, after practicing calligraphy for decades, he couldn't even compare to a young boy. Even the gap between the 2 sides is as big as heaven and earth. At this time, Ye Tiance said calmly, "Master Ji, could you please comment on how this painting compares with yours?" This. Ji Wuli hesitated, looking embarrassed. Anyone with long eyes can see the difference in calligraphy skills between the 2 sides. However, if he admitted that Ye Tiance's calligraphy was better, it would be like slapping himself in the face at his birthday party, but if you don't admit that Ye Tiance is good at calligraphy, it will be like speaking out of conscience, which will definitely affect your positive image in the hearts of the guests. For a moment, he was in a dilemma, but just then, Ji Boduan stood up and walked to the stage. He glared at Ye Tiance fiercely and sneered, "Yi, I admit that your calligraphy is not that good, but as the saying goes, there is no first in literature and no second in martial arts. Everyone has a subjective opinion on the level of calligraphy, just like 1,000 people have 1,000 Hamlets. Besides, this is a competition between your calligraphy and my father's calligraphy. He should not be the judge, but a different way of competition." Ye Tiance narrowed his eyes slightly and asked, "Oh. From what you say, do you mean you don't want to admit the bet just now?" His intuition told him that Ji Boduan must be lying. "What I said is hard to catch up with. I just want to make the bet fairer." Ji Boduan's eyes flashed with a hint of cunning, and he continued, "My father's calligraphy was approved by everyone present, and the final bidding price was 100 million. If you want to prove that your calligraphy is better, you must be recognized by everyone. That is, you can bid for more than 100 million on this occasion. As long as someone is willing to give this price, the bet can be counted as winning, and this is the fairest." Ye Tiance sneered, "Are you sure this is a fair calligraphy competition?" As we all know, Ji Wuli's calligraphy was sold for a high price of 1 million yuan before, all because the guests wanted to flatter him, not for the artistic value of the calligraphy at all. As for Ye Tiance's calligraphy, no matter how well it is written, even if the actual value of the calligraphy exceeds 100 million, none of the guests present today would dare to bid. The reason is simple, they don't dare to offend the Ji family. Ji Boduan knew this very well, so he made this request. Feeling smug in his heart, he nodded and said, "Of course it's fair. If you're not convinced, you can ask the guests in the audience." This statement came out. Li Jingye, who was at the main table, reacted very quickly and shouted, "The bidding is more convincing. I support it." Xiebin also echoed, "Yes, empty words are nothing, real money and silver are the last word." With these 2 big guys taking the lead, the other undecided guests naturally followed suit and spoke in support. "This world is like this, the rules are customized by the strong, and the weak can only obey." Ji Boduan said with a proud smile, "Young man named Ji, have you heard the shouts of everyone? They all support the bidding, so if you want to decide the winner, you have to follow these rules, otherwise you will give in and lose this bet." He turned around and said loudly, "Everyone, who wants to bid for the calligraphy written by Ye Tiance, you are welcome to raise your sign and let everyone take a look." Most of the guests in the audience murmured inwardly, "That's nice to say, welcome to raise a sign." But who dares? Whoever dares to raise a placard now will be forced to not raise it for the rest of his life by the Ji family's revenge methods after the birthday banquet is over. For a moment, the audience was completely silent, and no one raised a sign. Ji Boduan, who was at the main table, laughed out loud. "Ha! How dare you fight with my Ji family? You don't know your own abilities. You know how powerful you are now, right? I want to see how you apologize to my dad later, and then get out of here in despair." Xie Bin and Li Jingye were also overjoyed and ridiculed in various ways. Han Tianjing shook his head slightly. Ye Tiance's calligraphy skills indeed exceeded his expectations. This hand alone can be regarded as the standard of calligraphy masters. Although he likes calligraphy and painting, he has the intention to bid at a high price, but compared to offending the Ji family, it was really not worth it, so he didn't speak. Zhang Huilan curled her lips and complained, "The white-eyed wolf didn't tell us earlier that he knew calligraphy. It seemed that he was hiding it deliberately, for fear that our Xiao family would benefit from it. Now it's better, he deserves to be slapped in the face." "Bah," Xiao Nan said somewhat sourly, "isn't it just that I can do some calligraphy? What's so big about it? If everyone doesn't admit it, it's still just a piece of waste paper." As for Xiao Qingcheng, she was very confused. Of course she knew that this bet was based on the Ji family using their power to dominate others, which was not fair at all. Based on the emotional considerations accumulated during 3 years of marriage, she should probably stand up and speak for Ye Tiance. After all, the two only filed for divorce and did not receive the certificate. But her reason reminded her that she could not offend the Ji family for Ye Tiance. What's more, just asking Ye Tiance to apologize in public and leave the birthday banquet would at most result in loss of face and no personal safety. No big deal. So, her reason finally prevailed. "I chose to remain silent." Ji Wuli on the stage had a panoramic view of the expressions of everyone in the audience, and he couldn't help but feel joyful in his heart. He nodded affirmatively to Ji Boduan and said, "Well done." Ji Boduan said quickly, "Thank you, Dad. These are all your usual teachings." Ji Boduan raised his hands and said with an arrogant look, "My surname is Ye. I will say that your calligraphy is worthless. After all, no guest is willing to bid, let alone more than my father's 100 million, not even a bid of 1 yuan. You are destined to lose this bet, and you are also the one who wants to apologize and get out of here later, so I declare that your flow of words." Before he could fully say the words unbid, suddenly someone in the audience raised a sign. He said calmly, "I will offer 101 million. Chapter 49 Ji Boduan apologizes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although the sound is not loud, it is enough to attract everyone's attention. They all looked in the direction of the source of the sound. The person holding up the bidding sign was a stunning woman wearing a silver cheongsam, with a very charming appearance. The guests in the audience talked a lot. Who is this woman? Why haven't I seen her before? Knowing that opening the bidding would be a slap in the face of the Ji family, and calling out the price of 101 million, it was just intentional. This woman's temperament looks unusual. Maybe she has some background. Compared to the shocked expressions of the guests present, the faces of Ji Wuli and Ji Boduan, father and son, on the stage were about to turn into the bottom of a pot. They were so black and shiny. The corners of Ji Boduan's mouth twitched fiercely and he clenched his fists. It's this woman again who steps up to cause trouble at a critical moment. Ji Boduan didn't have much doubt as to whether the woman could really bid 101 million, after all, no matter from the person's dress, appearance and temperament, or the fact that she was able to get a standby invitation to come here, it shows that her status allows her to do this easily. I just don't know what the other person's background is. Ji Wuli looked ugly, gritted his teeth and asked, "Who is this woman? Why are you helping that bastard?" Ji Boduan said unwillingly, "I don't know her. I only know that she has an unclear relationship with Ye Tiance. I guess she is a rich woman he fell in love with from nowhere." The corners of Ji Wuli's eyes twitched fiercely. "Grandma, he was actually slapped in the face by a loser who only knows how to hang out with rich women." In fact, even Ye Tiance himself was surprised that this woman was the one who came to his rescue. Counting the time when Xiao Qingcheng wronged him before, this was the second time he helped him today. Therefore, Ye Tiance expressed his gratitude to Rong Meiyan in the audience with fists in his hands. Rong Meiyan in the audience smiled lightly, full of charm. Ye Tiance turned to Ji Boduan and said, according to the rules you set, the bidding price for my calligraphy is higher than 100 million. Can you admit that my calligraphy is better than my father's? Ji Boduan felt so miserable. It was originally a trap for Ye Tiance, but I didn't expect that he was put in it in the end. He didn't want to admit it in his heart, but in front of so many people, especially when he had previously boasted that it was hard to catch up with the horse, if he didn't admit it, it would be a slap in his face. Ji Boduan could only answer bravely, I admit it. Ye Tiance smiled and said, now that you admit it, what are you waiting for if you still haven't fulfilled your previous gambling promise? Ji Boduan's eyelids twitched. Asking him to apologize to Ye Tiance in public was even more unacceptable than asking him to eat shit. He gritted his teeth and reminded, Yi, you won the bet, but do you have to push it further? How about forgetting it? Ye Tiance's expression was normal and he said, young Master Ji, you made the bet, so how can you say that you are trying to push the envelope? In other words, if I had lost the bet just now, could you just let it go? Ji Boduan snorted in his heart, if Ye Tiance loses the bet, he can't wait to hold Ye Tiance's head, kowtow to his father and apologize, and finally make him crawl out of the banquet hall, humiliating him. But in turn, let him apologize to Ye Tiance in public, just can't do it. For a moment, the two of them were in a stalemate on the stage. See this? Xiao Qingcheng at the main table couldn't sit still. She stood up and warned in a cold voice, Ye Tiance, you're almost done. Do you have to be so aggressive that everyone can't get off the stage? Ye Tiance asked in return, Mr. Xiao, please open your eyes and see clearly, who is the aggressive one? Xiao Qingcheng frowned. Of course she knew who was being aggressive, but she understood better that Ye Tiance would only harm himself if he continued to make trouble like this. She continued, isn't it just an apology? Why is it so important that I have to hold on to it? This time, Ye Tiance didn't wait for him to speak. Rong Meiyan said calmly, when Ji Boduan asked Mr. Yi to apologize before, some people didn't stand up and speak up, but now, on the contrary, they speak up. Mr. Xiao, is it inappropriate to have such double standards? Xiao Qingcheng bit her lip lightly and responded coldly, the reason why I did this is actually to help him. The corner of Rong Meiyan's mouth curled up and she said, if you really want to help him, why bother delaying it until now? In the end, you still care about one thing at the expense of the other. In the face of rules and justice, you are not pure enough. These words were like a critical blow, hitting Xiao Qingcheng's heart directly. She was so embarrassed that she couldn't say a word for a long time. At the same time, the guests at other tables in the audience could not bear it any longer and started talking in low voices. Let me go, this strange woman is so fierce, she killed Mr. Xiao in just 2 words. But what they said makes sense. This auction of that painting was unfair to begin with. Now that young Master Ji has lost the bet and still doesn't want to fulfill it, he is just bullying others. To be honest, young Master Ji's character is not very good. If he really cooperates with the Ji family in the future, there may be hidden dangers. I saw that the guests' comments were getting out of control. Ji Wuli couldn't hold back his anger. He scolded Ji Boduan, if you haven't apologized to Mr. Yi yet, what are you waiting for? Ji Boduan frowned and said, Dad. Ye Tiance, is just a waste. Before he finished speaking, Ji Wuli interrupted him sharply, shut up. Don't you even listen to what I say? Facing Ji Wuli's angry gaze, Ji Boduan's body trembled suddenly. I could only nod my head very reluctantly. Turning to Ye Tiance, he gritted his teeth and apologized in a low voice, yes. I'm sorry. Ye Tiance raised his eyebrows and said, young Master Ji, are you hungry because you haven't had lunch yet and don't have the energy to speak? Louder. The corners of Ji Boduan's eyes twitched fiercely, and he almost breathed fire when he stared at Ye Tiance. The surname is Yi. Just wait for me. He took a deep breath and raised his voice, I'm sorry. Ye Tiance smiled lightly and said, for the sake of your sincere apology, I will forgive you. Ji Boduan's heart felt severe pain again. This bastard must have done it on purpose, but now, he knows that staying on stage would be a disgrace. In the end, he could only give Ye Tiance a hard look and quickly sneak off the stage. At this time, the host didn't know which chord in his mind was wrong. Suddenly he said, "Then I'd like to invite the guests from the 2 auctions of calligraphy to come up to the stage, take away their respective calligraphy, and take a group photo." Ji Wuli's face changed slightly, and he subconsciously wanted to stop him, but found that it was too late. Because all the guests heard it, Rong Meiyan had already stood up, walked to the front of the stage, and took the words "King to the world" left by Ye Tiance from the etiquette lady. Xiao Qingcheng, on the other hand, hesitated slightly and walked towards the stage, take over the words "Perseverance" written by Ji Wuli. Both women are impeccable in appearance and figure, but the words in their hands at this time formed a very sharp contrast. Ji Wuli looked ugly and said displeasedly, "Time is of the essence, so there's no need to take a group photo." Then he stepped down without looking back. Ye Tiance said to Rong Meiyan, "Thank you for your recognition of my handwriting." Rong Meiyan smiled and said, "Mr. Ye's calligraphy is very clever. It is worthy of everyone's calligraphy. The little girl only spent 101 million to buy it. She definitely got a big deal. I am the one who says thank you." At this time, Xiao Qingcheng, who was also on the stage, watched the 2 of them talking and laughing. For a moment, I had mixed feelings in my heart. There is an indescribable feeling of grievance and discomfort. She took a deep breath and kept giving herself hints. "Xiao Qingcheng, you must calm down. He, Ye Tiance, did all this just to prove that you made the wrong decision to file for divorce. But the results will prove that he can only deceive himself in the end." Soon, Xiao Qingcheng's mood returned to normal. He glanced at Ye Tiance indifferently and walked off the stage quickly. Chapter 50 Tiger-Shaped Jade Pendant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Xiao Qingcheng stepped down, Ye Tiance and Rong Meiyan also stepped down, and returned to their previous seats. As soon as Ye Tiance sat down, Ji Boduan couldn't help but lose his temper. He threatened, "Don't be so proud, kid. Sooner or later, we will settle the score with you." Ye Tiance said neither humble nor arrogantly, to each other. Ji Boduan snorted coldly and turned away, not wanting to look at Ye Tiance again. "I'm afraid my emotions will explode if I take one more look." The other people at the main table, such as Li Jingye and Xie Bin, all looked ugly. After all, they had all ridiculed Ye Tiance for his poor calligraphy before, but they didn't expect the slap in the face to come so quickly. It was Zhang Huilan. He lowered his voice and reminded Xiao Qingcheng, "Mom, let me remind you. That white-eyed wolf just auctioned that calligraphy and made a full profit of 101 million. Wait for the birthday banquet to be over and cash him in cash. Remember to ask for the money." Xiao Qingcheng asked in confusion, "Why?" Zhang Huilan curled her lips and said, "You are so stupid. Haven't you officially divorced him? Before you get the divorce certificate, you are still a legal couple. You have the right to take half of all his income as a husband. What's more, he has been living in our house for 3 years and owes us so much. He should give all his income to you." Xiao Qingcheng said helplessly, "Mom. It's already this time, can you stop causing trouble? I'm already very upset." Zhang Huilan rolled her eyes and didn't say any more, "But something has already begun to brew in my heart." At this time, the host on the stage said, "Next is the official auction that all the guests have been waiting for. The items in this auction are all treasures collected by the Ji family for many years. Master Ji also specially asked me to remind everyone to do what you can and what pleases you, and there is no need to compare and raise prices." Even though he said this, everyone knew it. What should we do within our capabilities? In fact, I just want to stimulate everyone to spend more money to bid and leave a good impression on Ji Wuli. As the host announced that the auction officially began, a tall etiquette lady brought up a blue and white porcelain vase that was more than half a foot tall. This porcelain bottle has a slender neck, a well-proportioned and full body, and dense blue and white porcelain patterns, which is very artistic. The host introduced, this porcelain vase came from the Qianlong period of the Qing dynasty. A friend gave it to the Ji family 3 years ago. It is being auctioned today. The base price is 30 yuan, and each increase in price is no less than 1 yuan. The words fell, a guest in the audience immediately raised a sign and made an offer, "I'll pay 35. Someone else raised a sign and said, I will offer 38. After a while, the bidding for the blue and white porcelain vase ended. In the end, it was bought by a fat bald man for 70 yuan. Anyone who knows the art knows that the normal market price of this porcelain bottle is only around 40 yuan. As for the 30 yuan that exceeds the standard, it is completely regarded as another form of gift to Ji Wuli to celebrate his birthday, followed by, the second auction item was also invited to the stage. Everyone started fighting again and raised the price. Every time the price is increased, it is equivalent to giving money to the Ji family out of one's own pocket. This made Ji Wuli, who was originally looking ugly, gradually relax a lot. Although I lost face before, I still made no less money than I should have earned today. Ji Boduan's mood recovered a little. He glanced at Ye Tiance and said, "Didn't you have some bad luck just now? You made 101 million by auctioning that broken calligraphy painting. Don't you plan to bid for a treasure? Or are you frightened by the fighting scene with everyone bidding?" Ye Tiance said calmly, "What treasure? In my opinion, they are just a bunch of rags, and I have no interest in bidding." Ji Boduan sneered and said, "Ha! You're so damn good at pretending. I think you just can't bear to part with that 101 million, right? That's right, after all, a waste like you will never be able to save so much in a lifetime of begging." Ji Boduan also said angrily, "Brother. Don't say that. Some people say they have a net worth of 1 trillion yuan. How can they not bear to part with a mere 1.8 million yuan? But they don't like it at all." "Ha ha ha," Ye Tiance said with a normal expression, "You're right, I really don't like this little money." Ji Boduan rolled his eyes. "Give you a pole, do you really dare to climb up along it? Don't want billion." Zhang Huilan was even more disgusted and said, "You loser, if you really don't care about this little money, why haven't you helped the Xiao family even a penny in the past 3 years? Ye Tiance asked back, "Do you think the Xiao family could have developed so fast in the past 3 years without my help?" Xiao Nan said with a serious face, "Our Xiao family can't be where we are today without my sister's efforts and the unity of our Xiao family. What does it have to do with you, a soft-hearted person like you? To put it bluntly, without you holding us back, our Xiao family would only be better now." Even Xiao Qingcheng's expression was speechless. I didn't expect that in front of others, in order to maintain his poor dignity, he would even tell such a lie. No wonder he has been hiding, lying, and being hypocritical to her all this time. Thinking of this, Xiao Qingcheng couldn't help but reaffirmed his idea of divorcing. Faced with everyone's doubts, Ye Tiance did not explain much. To him, there is no need to prove anything in front of these people. Only the tiger-shaped jade pendant that will appear at the auction today is the most important to him. The auction progressed quickly. In less than an hour, dozens of items have been auctioned. Just the last item left. The host looked excited and said, "Now let me introduce the last auction item. It is also the most valuable one in today's auction." The hostess will carefully bring the tray to the stage and remove the red cloth covering it. I saw a jade pendant lying inside that was completely white and had a very simple appearance. It was shaped like a tiger and was lifelike. At the same time, a picture of the jade pendant was also displayed on the big screen at the back. Therefore, every detail of the banquet hall can be seen in every corner. The host introduced, "This jade pendant was accidentally acquired by the Ji family many years ago. According to the judgment of well-known experts, its composition is Hetian jade, which is the highest quality jade. Not only that, this jade pendant has a history of at least more than 1,000 years, and was made by the top craftsmen of that era. Its value is self-evident." The guests present were in an uproar. "Let me go, this Hetian jade pendant that is thousands of years old has extremely high historical value. It must be a very valuable treasure. Why doesn't Mr. Ji keep such a good treasure and choose to auction it instead?" Ye Tiance, who was sitting at the main table, shrank his pupils slightly. Originally, he always thought that it was just an ordinary jade pendant he wore. If it hadn't been for the host's introduction, he wouldn't have known that this jade pendant left by his grandfather had a history of thousands of years. Could it be that this is a treasure that has been passed down from generation to generation in the Yi family? No matter what, he is bound to get this jade pendant today. At the same time, the host on the stage said, "Then I announce that the starting price of this tiger-shaped jade pendant is 500 million. Each increase in price must not be less than 10. The bidding begins.